Good afternoon, I'm Deborah Norville.
And I'm Ron Majors. It's now being called the worst flooding in Chicago area history, and it continues to disrupt the lives of thousands of people this afternoon. In a moment, we'll take you to some of the places hit hardest by the floodwaters.
We'll see which Chicago area roadways are the best to avoid because of all the flooding.
You'll also meet a family who just refused to be chased away by the flood of '86.
All of those stories, plus some information which may help you weather the storm, coming up next here on the Channel 5 News at 4:30.
Live on Channel 5. This is the 4:30 News with Deborah Norville and Ron Majors, John Coleman with weather, and Warner Saunders with sports. The Channel 5 News at 4:30.
It has become the worst flooding in Chicago area history. Thousands of people forced to leave their homes, millions of dollars in damage, in what our grandkids may come to know as the flood of '86.
The flood has lasted now for nearly a week, but the work of tallying up the damage is just beginning. Emergency crews are still working to restore lost power, lost telephone service. If you're one of the people affected by that, we'll have some important telephone numbers for you in a moment. Channel 5's Isabel Duran is in Gurnee, where today emergency teams began tallying up the disaster totals. Isabel?
Deborah and Ron, the floodwaters have receded quite a bit since yesterday. Some of the residents have told us we're at Route 132 and O'Plain Road in Gurnee, and of course you can see some of the rain has started up and it's coming down pretty hard right now. But the federal investigators who did come through here say it indeed has been one of the most amazing and probably one of the worst disaster sites they have seen since 1960. This is Isabel Duran live in Gurnee. Back to you, Ron and Deborah.
Thank you, Isabel. And while officials are surveying the damage, many people are just trying to cope with what's going on. Channel 5's Art Norman is in one of the worst hit areas in Des Plaines on Rand Road, just east of River Road.
Ron, we're live. You're looking at a live picture from the Big Bend community in Des Plaines. The water level right now about between waist and knee-high, but apparently those floodwaters are receding. This is a well-to-do community where many homeowners are opting to stay in their home tonight and protect their valuables. They have a choice of going to one of several shelters. However, there was no choice this morning for some 112 people at a nearby hospital.
Nevertheless, they're bracing for all sorts of problems in Kane County now as the floodwaters spread. We'll have a live report on that coming up. And overflowing rivers feeding the mighty Mississippi bring the highest water level in more than a century, not without impact.
And in Washington, a Freed reporter takes a walk through the Rose Garden after returning to work. Channel 5's Ray Suarez is live in Batavia, where residents are trying to cope with what has become a familiar problem for some. Ray?
Well, Deborah, you don't have to be a meteorologist out here west of Chicago to know that the same heavy rains that have been falling in Lake County and Cook County causing flooding there have been falling into those bodies of water that feed the Fox River.
Chicago gasoline dealers are on the warpath against city plans to increase the gasoline tax. As Channel 5's political editor Dick Kay reports, today they took their attack to City Hall.
The service station operators are considering one other form of protest. They are discussing a possible shutdown of all service stations in the city of Chicago for one day.
John Coleman up next with the weather. And yes, folks, we did say there is some encouraging news to report.
A change in the weather charts. By the weekend, the skies may be clearing. I'll have the details and an update on the river floods. Stay with us for the full weather forecast after this.